Hello, my dears. It's Aisling Mooney, Angel Intuitive, author of Angels Are With You, and the founder of the Angel Cafe, which you've probably come to, or if you haven't, you will come to future events. And I'm here today to just talk to you as a human being and a light worker on this planet right now, today. And I'm speaking to you as a light worker in my community. So I'm going to give people a few minutes to find me on this page. I didn't announce this live. I just decided to go live literally this morning, and this is the best moment. Because I want to talk about what's happening at the moment, and I want to talk about our part in that, the part that we as light workers are playing and can play in this moment in our history. If you have any comments, please post them and I will see them. This is a difficult thing for me to speak about, so it's taken me a bit of courage to come on live and just share how I'm feeling, and the reason for that is that it might help some of you. It might help some of you who are experiencing the same things, who are feeling the same things. Maybe by sharing my story, I'm supporting you in some way. I hope I am. Anyway, I have a new tripod-y thing, and it's not ideal. It keeps wobbling, so that's why the screen. So I'm going to check the comments down here on my computer today. So I'm just going to find the live. So if you're just joining me, you are so very, very welcome. I'm delighted to see you on the 11th of June. What a magical day. So let me see. Okay, my darlings, it is lovely to see you. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to get started. So, so some of you will know me. Some of you, this is the first time seeing me, but I would consider myself a light worker, a healer, a spiritual teacher. I help people to connect with angels, and I work with angels in my own work, and I've written a book on angels, and I've created multiple courses and communities all around the theme of angels and spirituality and healing. So like many of you watching this, I would consider myself, one of the identities I would have is a light worker, as well as a mother, a business owner, entrepreneur, Irish woman living in Italy. I live in north of Italy, so I have lots of pieces of identities, but one of them is a light worker, and I'm guessing that many of you watching this will identify with that as well. So, or will have your own version of that. So I just want to talk about what's happening at the moment and my take on it, and it might support you in your journey right now. And if you know of anyone that you think might need to hear this message, just please share this video. So I feel that this is a moment of revolution, and we as light workers, we saw this coming. We forecast it. We spoke about it in our angel card readings, in our energy forecasts, in our healing sessions. If you do live streams, I'm sure you spoke about this. Shift, new paradigm, divine feminine rising, the demise of government structures and systems, and the patriarchy, and a bit of chaos and things shifting and changing beyond our imagination even. We have seen this. We saw this moment coming and we forecast it. And my feeling is that it's now. This is the moment that we forecast. And although we've seen it and although we've spoken about it, somehow it still feels abstract. And it still feels that it's not completely related to us. And a lot of light workers out there are carrying on as if it's business as usual. are doing what they usually do, whether that's if you're in the online realm, that's your weekly live stream, or your angel card readings, or you're posting on your blog and you're sharing that, or you're doing your videos and you're not mentioning this moment. Some of you are not even acting like it's happening, or you're not sharing your experiences as we are going through this, because it's a collective awakening. It's a collective rubbing our eyes and seeing things differently. And these structures that are dismantling and falling to the ground before our very eyes, it is not convenient. It was never going to be convenient. So it's one thing saying these paradigm shifts are going to happen and the worldwide shifts and the governments are going to fall and all of this. That is fucking not going to be convenient. That is not going to be business as usual. So I felt called to come in and to speak to all of the light workers in my community to sort of get with the program. And please forgive me if I'm offending anybody in anything that I'm saying. I really just wanted to come on and just disregard anything that doesn't sit with you. You know, this is from my heart, from the reflection and the stuff that I've done in the last week. Literally a week I'm only in this space. So if you had spoken to me last week, I would have had a different perspective. But this is the month of awakening. This is the month of us stepping into our part in this revolution. And it cannot be business as usual. It cannot be I'm doing my weekly live stream and I've decided I'm doing it on forgiveness and I'm just going to focus on this. I'm not fucking going to mention that there's a revolution happening and that I'm going through a spiritual awakening, and that or I'm resisting it. For some of you, you might be resisting it, because I've seen that. I can feel it in some of the conversations. I'm speaking to as many people as I can, but not everybody is on that wavelength yet. They're coming around. So I'm hoping that by me speaking, we might all begin to really get on the same wavelength here, and really help and support this revolution. So I've written down some things so I don't forget anything, but you know, it is not convenient. It is not business as usual. And I think if we accept that, and it's also because if we don't jump into this moment, and I'm gonna talk about how we can at the end. So don't worry about that yet. You know, what can I do? What can I do? I'm just a mother, or I'm just a wife, or this has nothing to do with me. You know, if you're having any of those thoughts or worries, just listen to the end and I'll share some things that I am doing, some ways that I'm committing to change, and that they might inspire you to do the same in your life. But it's not business as usual. And, you know, if you're still saying, like, I know we're just coming out of coronavirus, that has shifted and changed so much. Like, the structures were literally, people could not leave their house. Social media took off, online took off, like in a way that is unprecedented. So many things have shifted and changed and healed because of that moment of pause that we've had. And, you know, there's still the reverberations and the ripple effect of those of this moment of peace, of quiet that we've had in the world will affect us for the next few years. Like, it really is deep work. But this particular week is about Black Lives Matter, is about racism, is about waking up to white supremacy. Now, this all might be new to you on your journey. You know, maybe you haven't. I am literally 5 minutes in this, learning, listening to podcasts, reading books, watching videos. I'm going to share to you some of the things that I'm doing to be active in this. So I'm literally 5 minutes in this, and I'm not an expert. I am just decided to just be here now. I've postponed everything that I had on my list to do in my spiritual business this month, for the rest of this month, and I'm focusing on this issue, on this moment, because I really think it's crucial that we get on board and we educate ourselves. And if you find yourself, and this was me last week, saying things like, I don't see colour, this is not about me, the white supremacy and the white supremacists are over there and they're not me, and I'm not a racist, and I don't take part in this racism. If you're still saying those things, then pick up a book. A great starting point would be write White Fragility. I'll post it in the comments. That would be a fantastic place to start. Another place would be to start listening to the podcast Seen on Radio. I'll post it in the comments, called Seeing White. I will post resources under this, and if you have resources that you've used, please post them under this video, and this can be a resource. And I also will link a post that I did on my personal profile with some of my resources that have been collecting in my community. So, you know, if you're still using those terms and still find yourself saying those things, please go and start the awakening, which is the education. Get yourself educated. I would say check in on the season of life that you are in. If you have young children, the things that I'm saying commit to, they will be different for every single one of you, depending on where you are in your life, where you are in your spiritual business, and what you can physically do. So tune in and see what you can do. But a few days ago, I was just going ahead with everything that I had planned, and then I was thinking, this is wrong. I need to pause. And if I really felt like if I didn't give my voice and my energy to this moment, that it would be lost. And that's how I feel, that if as many of us as possible can just band together and just unite our voices on this and awaken together, that we can really do so much good in the world. So any of your thoughts on this, I would love to share them with me in the posts below. I'm going to be looking at them here on my computer. And I'm here with you for the next 10 or 20 minutes, as long as you want. And I will come in and I'll do more, I'll answer your questions. And I'm going to be speaking more about this in the next few weeks. So just some of the things that I'm doing that might be useful for you to see, okay, what can I do? So the first thing is I've realized that I have a voice and that I have a platform. My community across social media and in my email, there's a good few thousand people there that are more or less interested in what I have to say. So once I'm speaking from my heart and I'm speaking from a place of not anger or, you know, I've gone through those emotions, and I'm now at the place of, okay, how can I what be spiritually active here? What can I do to actually make a difference instead of sitting in the moaning and the complaining and the worry and the resentment? And I've gone through all of the emotions, and there is a lot of shadow work and a lot of healing work that needs to happen around this. And I'm considering some resources to bring to anyone in my community that needs that. But if you have a voice and you have a community, just speak, do a live stream, share about your thoughts and feelings. I know it's scary. This is scary for me to do this. It was scary for me to post last week about my thoughts on my page. It was scary to send an email and to see people unsubscribing from my list because they didn't like the message. It is scary to put yourself out there and to share how you are feeling about this. But our Black brothers and sisters need us to speak up, as the majority of people in my community are white. The majority of my peers are white. So we need to add our voices to this. So if you have a voice and you have a community, find a way to share it. That could be, you can have a look at my page and just see what I've been sharing, and that might give you some ideas. Just share the resources, share the videos that you're watching. You know, I read this book, I got this aha from it, or I'm reading this book, it's great because I watched this video last night. It really opened my eyes. I will post some resources so that you can get started if you want to. So add your voice, your community, write about it. That's what I've done. I've written some blog posts. I'm now showing up live here. I've started conversations with some Black women in my community. I've reached out to new people, mainly women, Black women, and people of colour. I've actively seeked out people to make friends with on Facebook and to connect with, and I've been on the phone yesterday with an incredible woman, and we were talking about the ancestral healing that needs to happen around this. That was Yvonne J. Douglas. I will connect Yvonne in this live stream for anyone that wants to follow her. She does really a lot of work around shadow work and ancestral healing, and we had a conversation, and we're going to look at how we can collaborate. And I'm actively watching videos, and I'm looking at what's happening out there and what people are saying, and I'm just being involved in that conversation that last week I was not involved in at all. I was not paying any attention to at all. So that's one thing. So actively friend people, reach out and try to understand different perspectives, watch different videos. Change your business policies. So this is a big one for me. So I had to look at my personal, how I was showing up personally, but how I was showing up in my business. So for example, I'm going to be part of an event in a couple of weeks, a live stream event in a Facebook group called Unity. And I messaged the host and I said, look, I'm really delighted to be part of this event, but I noticed that there are all Black, white people. All of the photographs are of white people. And this particular event was supposed to be encompassing of Indigenous communities. And so the host, thank God, came back and she said, thank you. I was thinking exactly the same thing. And if you know anybody, please send them, because we have spaces and we're open, and that's what this event is about all different cultures. And they had all different cultures, but they just all happened to be white people. So, you know, it's about, and that took courage, because I didn't want to offend, I didn't want to hurt anybody. I'm human, we all want to be liked. I didn't want to rock the boat, but it was about me just saying, look, what do you think about this? And so we're actively working to get some more people on that event. So that's an example. And after that event, in future, if somebody asks me to take part in a summit or any sort of event, whether it's live or virtual, one of my first questions, as well as the logistics, will be, of the 20 presenters, how many of them will be Black people and people of colour and Indigenous tribes and communities? How much everybody will be represented on this summit or this thing? So that's just one thing I'm doing. Another thing is an angel card deck I have coming out. I've specifically said to my designer, I want the angels, who are traditionally, most of you will know this, traditionally seen as white beings. And I didn't see this, to be honest, but I'm only in this 5 minutes. I'm only learning, my eyes are only opening in this literally 5 minutes. And I just said to her, look, we need to include all cultures, all ages, all races in these angels. So we're going to have, that's one of the focuses. And she was delighted. The girl that's my designer is Indian. She was like, thank God, this is great. We can all just do our part in this. So she's thrilled to be part of a project that's a start on encouraging diversity. And yeah, anyway, so yes, what else am I doing? I spoke to my kids. I spoke to my 12-year-old. I watched a video of Gayle Edwards and Inga Deksne. And Gayle made a challenge, and she said, I challenge you to speak to your children about racism. And I thought, oh my God, I have never spoken to my kids about racism. Now I have an 8-year-old, and I have a 12-year-old. So I spoke to the 12-year-old. The 8-year-old, obviously, I have to change the language and maybe approach it from a different angle. But with my 12-year-old, we sat down on my bed and I said, look, do you know that this week there's a lot of stuff in the internet. There was a man, an African-American man that was murdered, and it was a crime of racism. And he said, I know all about it, ma'am. One of his YouTubers that he follows, Markiplier, had done a video on it, a beautiful video, and we watched the video together, and then we had a conversation afterwards, and I explained to him that I was going to try and do my part, and that we were going to have more conversations. And it's the first time in 12 years of his life that I've actually acknowledged that this was happening in the world and that it was an issue. And the thing is that my child knew about it already, and by me not speaking about it, I was allowing him to be educated by people out there, which that's part of the conversation, but it should be happening in our own homes as well. And I've started speaking to my husband, just a conversation. I'm talking to him about the videos that I'm watching, the podcasts that I'm listening to. I'm just starting to have a conversation. What do you think about this? And a back and forth and a questions and answers. And we're going to watch a movie on Netflix over the weekend called 13th, which I'd recommend. And there's lots more. I'll put them in the comment. I will post resources in the description with this. And with my Angel Cafe in my business, I've decided that the next one on the 22nd of July has to have at least half of the speakers can be white, and at least half of them. Well, I prefer that there was just a big, huge mix of people from all over the world and all different colours and races and cultures and nationalities in that space, and that we are all sharing, all spiritual teachers, all spiritual leaders, sharing our gifts collectively. And that's what I'm doing. So I would love to, I picked an angel card for us. Now I didn't shuffle this and it fell out. I actually physically went and looked for this one today because I thought that it's from the Archangel Michael deck, and it's make a commitment. So my challenge to you is to either do this yourself quietly on your own, or to post in the comments here if you want to make a more verbal commitment or a more public commitment. But for you to think about this week, what can you commit to doing in your personal life and in your spiritual business as a light worker? How can you add your voice to this revolution that is happening? How can you pause business as usual and get on this? Get in here. This is not a convenient moment. This is not convenient to cancel client sessions. It's not convenient to pause your events and activities and the things that you had planned. It's not convenient, but it is absolutely essential that we make a commitment, that we take a moment to pause and think about what our commitments are and how we as light workers, we are light workers. This is our moment that we foretold was happening. This is our moment. We need to get on this revolution. So what commitments? I would love to hear below in the comments. What are your commitments? What commitments can you make? It could be simply like, as I've said, speaking to your children, speaking to your husband, speaking to your friends. Not all of my friends are open to this conversation yet. Some of them are, we're speaking, and then some of them are not. They're not there yet. So, it can be small commitments or it can be bigger commitments. So I've just given you some examples, and I would love you to just post what even one commitment you can do to start to be that change in the world that we want to create. I'm going to read this. So it's make a commitment. So Archangel Michael, as the angel of courage and confidence, I call upon you to lend me your strength. Allow me to commit to myself my life and my divine purpose. Please clearly guide me so that I can fully open my heart to every experience. So my challenge is make a commitment this week to be in this conversation. So I'm going to just have a quick look through the comments, and I will stay here for a few more minutes, but if I'm finish the live stream, just come back and please post. And I really appreciate your support. I appreciate the hearts, I appreciate the thumbs up, and I appreciate your comments. This was not an easy an easy live stream for me to do, but I'm hoping that it is helpful in some way. Thanks, Myra. Yeah, education is everything. Yes, Debbie, it's a healing. So much healing, and love is still needed. Yes, love and activism, spiritual activism. We need to get active. Hi, Becky. Hi, Simone. Thank you so much. Noticing the silence in some quarters. It's uncomfortable, but it needs to be addressed in order that we change this paradigm. Yes, love. Yes. And I have been silent as I've been gathering my thoughts and trying to figure out, where am I in this? How can I say? What can I say? Where is it safe for me to take a risk and to speak about this? And is it safe? And how can I make it safe? And how can I make it safe for other people in my community to speak about this? And the 13th is a must watch. Yes. So Anita, wow, as you're talking, you make good sense. A deep rooted heart. Yes. Right in the middle of the earth is starting to feel. Yes, my darling. Ah, I love this. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you. Deep ancestral healing taking place. So again, if anybody here has any resources, anything that you want to add of value to this conversation, things that you've read yourself, books that you've read, movies that you've watched, please just add them all in the comments. And this can be a resource for anyone that might be starting on this journey, or, you know, this is an awakening. This is an awakening. I did learn from my son, Debbie. I learned that he knew. I learned that even that he was so far advanced in this conversation, and he knew the questions that he asked me were so powerful. I didn't have the answers. I did not have the answers to his questions. I just said, I'm just going to try and do better, love. That's all. I don't know the answers. I don't know what the end of this is going to look like, but I can just feel into what I need to do. But and what we need to do as a family, and that we need to start the conversation. And I was listening to a live stream the other day, and she said we have an attitude now of zero tolerance in our home, in our house. So it's like, you know, wherever you are with your family and in your business, it's about opening up those conversations. But yeah, I did learn so much. The kids, the new generation coming, are the fire starters, are the kick starters. If we can listen to them, if we can give them the space, we can learn so much from them. Oh God, Claire, I'm so delighted. Claire's going to commit to having a conversation with her teenage sons, another one. Thank you so much, love. And if you can share your thoughts on that, what happened, what you did the first time, how it went, in this comments for anyone that might be struggling to think how they can speak to their kids or their family, I would really appreciate that. Debbie says on our business page, I'm going to say a live about talking to your children. Mwah! Love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Love it. Please tag me and I will watch it. Anita says, I commit to reconnecting with friends of ethnic origin and having a conversation. Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. Yes, that's one of my commitments as well. And I started when I realized that I just don't have any black friends or people of color. I don't have any. So there's a huge wake-up call for me to realize that. So I am beginning those friendships. I'm starting those friendships. Robin DeAngelo's video is incredible. Please post the link for that, Simone. I've read his book, or her book, sorry, Robin DeAngelo's book, White Fragility. I would recommend it for everyone. It literally blew the cobwebs out of my eyes. There is no unlearning. There is no going back once you read that book. So please post a link to the video, Simone. That would be great. Catherine said it's part of the ascension process to see the soul light, not the body. And we must see our own soul first, then we will see others. It's not easy to stay in that soul place all the time. Yes, my darling. And Aita says, I commit to educating myself this week and having a conversation with my kids and my hubby. Thank you so much, everybody. Please share this video with other light workers, with anyone that you think might find it useful, might start a conversation. Share it in your communities. I'm happy to come and talk in your communities if you want. I'm not an expert. I can just talk about my story, if that's helpful, or just share this video. You're welcome to share any of my posts, any of the resources. You're welcome to copy and paste them. Anything that I can do to help you in your sharing or your awakening, please ask. If you know of any speakers that would like to take part in the Angel Cafe, that are, because I know lots of white people, but I would, if you know somebody that's a spiritual teacher and a healer, across all different traditions and healing traditions and cultures, and that are Black and people of colour, I would really appreciate you connecting me, so that we can just really open up the story. And as I make more commitments and more changes, and I keep adding my voice, I will post and keep you informed under this video, and just in general. Loads of love, my darlings. Thank you so much for being here and for supporting me, which in what was a difficult live stream to do. I'm glad I did it. It's done. It's the start. And I really, really appreciate every single one of you that has been here with me. If you've just joined, please go back and watch this from the beginning. It's really, really important information about this moment of revolution and our part as light workers in it, and how we can help and support and add our voice. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me and for allowing me to share. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.